Rated M for mature.
When I was young, our dream was to go to the stars. And so we tried. Gave our best. And in the end, we made it into space.
Greetings, Commander. You have been sent to Quadrant Alpha 1. The mission is to find a new home for the crew on board of this ship. Expand your ship and explore the galaxy for resources and interesting new life forms. To increase the size of the ship and to forge weapons, we need to gather resources. In the current quadrant, we have identified more than 300 planets that we can explore and harvest. Alpha 1 is a dangerous quadrant. Even the bravest pioneers will need top-tier weapons and defenses to survive this endeavor and to lead the Genesis mission to success. Your ship is like an ark, and the crew is the most important part of your endeavor. No crew, no Genesis. Improve the crew's DNA and treat them properly, and they will grant success of your mission.
The best commanders were chosen to lead these starships, and like myself, you are one of them.
Hey, how are we doing, guys? I'm Brett.
I'm Kay.
We're from Team 17 and welcome to our launch day live stream of Genesis Alpha 1 by Radiation Blue.
Today's the day, it's finally happening.
It is. It's felt like a long time coming, but I believe it's worth the wait, and I say we've seen some really good reviews today and some really good feedback from players. So yeah, we're going to be showing off some more gameplay. If you are actually playing the game at the moment and kind of want some tips and tricks, feel free to drop in the chat and ask us some questions and we'll do our best to help you. But today we're going to be playing as a corporation unlocked by the mechanics because I've killed enough of them. So we're kind of playing the bad guys.
So I think our producer might need to move our cursor because you might be able to see in the middle of the screen. If you keep playing that, maybe you'll be okay.
Yeah, there we go. And we're back. Alright, so yeah, this is our bridge. For those who haven't played this before, this is where a lot of stuff will happen. So
this is the heart of the ship. This is where you make the big decisions of where to go and where to not get killed.
It is. And just a quick tip, you don't really want to go in these red areas.
Not until you're ready.
No.
So we won't be doing it today most likely because we are underprepared.
But what we'll do is we'll have a quick tour of the ship.
So while you walk around the ship, to anyone who's completely unfamiliar with the game, what is Genesis Alpha 1?
Genesis Alpha 1 is a sci-fi roguelike first-person shooter with base building elements. So as you can see, this is all constructed. We'll go into the map and you can see what we've done, and we'll just toggle.
So you've built this entire ship yourself from scratch.
I have indeed. So we've currently got this over 3 floors. Just give you a quick, it's like MTV Cribs, this is just showing you around my different rooms. And go down to the basement, we've got reactors. Now the reactors, you will need to expand your ship, but obviously you need the resources to make your reactors. And we'll go down and we'll have a look at some of the recreation.
So you can build your ship up to 7 floors if you want, it's entirely up to you. You can make a really epic single floor ship if you want to. Divide your ship up in various ways, so you might have crew quarters and their recreational modules on one floor, your farming somewhere else, your greenhouse somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's really up to you how you build it, how you design it, how you color it even. It's really all up to you.
Definitely. This is our workshop where you can make all the weapons. We'll just have a quick gander in here, see what's happening.
So you pick your weapons, put them in the weapon racks that are available, you upgrade weapons, you research weapons, you make turrets and barriers to help protect your ship. As you can see, you make robots that help make sure that your resources are processed on the ship, and then of course some ammunition for the weapons.
Yeah.
So you'll be coming here quite a lot to make sure that you have what you need to survive.
So what we'll do is we'll just pop into, not the storage, not that storage either.
This is a freshly built ship, so we're
is.
just figuring our way around.
So this is our greenhouse. As you can see, this is what gives you life on the Genesis. And if you do create more clones when you get the DNA, you will need to sustain their life, so you will need to get plants from your exploration.
So it's all about making your own crew and making sure that their life can be sustained aboard your ship.
Exactly.
So making sure that you can clone them, that you have a place for them to live, and that there is breathable air for them aboard the ship as well.
Exactly. You can see we've got quite a strange little plant here that we've picked up, and that's because we do have a clone member who is not.
They're less human than we are.
Yeah, they're humanoid, and what we'll do is we'll go and give them a visit.
So we did have a question in chat. Thanks everyone for joining in chat, by the way. Fire away questions if there's anything you want to see, anything you want to know. We're more than happy to answer. So someone asking how long the game is to beat. And I would say this varies quite a lot, obviously, depending on how good you are, how lucky you are. Every time you start a new game, your universe is randomly generated, so where things are, where the resources are you might need, where the modules and schematics that you might need, where they are is random, where the aliens you might encounter might be looking for, all that's random every time. So depending on how quickly you find the different things that you happen to be looking for, that can really change up how long a playthrough is. But I would say for a first playthrough, you're meant to play through this many times to unlock everything. The first playthrough, you're probably looking at dozens of hours if you want to be in any way thorough. So I mean, you could easily spend. I mean, if you want to fully explore the universe and try to initiate Genesis with all the various species, I mean, you could easily be looking at 60, 80, or 100 hours before you're done with this game. Even more if you want to do everything with every corporation.
Exactly.
So a lot of hours in this.
Definitely. And we've just come into the respawn chamber where you can assign a member of the crew to be your captain if you die, essentially. And as you can see from our previous stream, we had Dave. In this stream, we've got Big Dave. He doesn't look too happy.
So he's ready to take over if we get taken down.
So yeah, he's not too happy. I don't think he's reading something on his tablet.
We do have someone else in chat asking if they are unable to select a corporation. I assume you've just fired up the game for the first time. So what you'll have to do first, before you can select an actual corporation, is you'll have to play and complete the tutorial. So once you've done that, the tutorial will basically teach you how to play the game. And once you've done that, once you've seen the congratulations appear on your screen, you can then exit out, and then you'll be able to select between 2 corporations and 3 if you have the Rockstar Corporation Pack. So if you've pre-ordered, you'll have a 3rd corporation available to you immediately.
Definitely.
And if you haven't pre-ordered, you could buy that corporation and the weapons that come along with it separately. But yeah, you finish the tutorial and then you can jump in properly, and we'll be able to build from scratch after that.
Definitely. And just one thing you notice, you may have seen us go into a hyperdrive before, so we have upgraded how far we can jump as opposed to the default, and that will help you in certain things. When you get invaded, you can jump a lot further to get away from people. And obviously we've got the merchants as well, which you can go and trade with if you have enough resources. Yeah,
that's the thing. You can always hyper jump one cluster, so one square on the map for free, or you can make longer jumps, but that will require uranium. So once you have that, and you'll be able to make longer jumps at one time. We have a question regarding resources.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about that. How does that work? We can go to a planet and basically explain, show off.
Yeah.
So
let's assign someone to come with us.
Like we mentioned, you need to collect the resources required both to get the clones you need, to build the modules you need to expand your ship, and to ultimately get the crew required to inhabit the planet. That is essentially the end goal. So in each randomly generated universe, you have a number of possible Genesis candidates, which are planets that you could inhabit or send your crew to inhabit if you want, and they will all have different requirements, different number of crew, different types of biosphere. And while you're trying to build toward whatever planet you've decided to inhabit, you will be collecting a lot of resources. And this is one of the ways of doing it, in going down to a planet. So let's just landing here.
So let's see what greets us. Okay, so let's see what we've got. It's like a sulfur.
So you'll see a bunch of, every planet has random things, so you might, sometimes you'll find exactly what you need, sometimes you won't. You'll be able to see beforehand what is there before you go.
Yeah.
And we're mining, our crew members mining. You can tell them to not mine if you would rather they protect the ship, stay safe. You can go to a planet yourself, you can send crew members to planets without you if you trust them to do that. And while Brett is mining a bit, I'll check another question from the chat. So someone's asking, how do you reassign the crew? So one thing you can do from every terminal in the entire game, so from every main computer, once you look at it, you can look up to see a screen of the entire ship. So that will show you an overview of your resources, the atmosphere on the ship, the crew, your various module types, how many you have, how much you've used to store it and deposit, and that kind of thing. But if you, from the main screen, look to your right, you'll see a complete list of all your crew members, their stats, their race, their health, what they're doing, and from there you can take someone's job away and reassign them to something else.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can quick assign from the main screen, but from the screen on the right, you can reassign anyone at any time.
Definitely. We'll show you that when we pop back up to the Genesis, and we'll show you how to do that.
So what are we doing now?
So at the minute we're just scanning alien artifact tool. Hello, who's this?
Company.
There we go.
So this is one of the things that your crew members cannot do for you. This is one of the reasons why you will have to go to planets. Whether you dare, take on the aliens or not, you will have to go down to find sites like these, because they can give you a lot of stuff.
They can. And if you want to progress, and say it is a roguelike, so if you want to come back and get bigger and better, so to speak, you will need to collect these things, and they will aid you on your journey.
Exactly, and not just this journey, but any journey. So if you unlock something, if you go to a planet and you unlock, we've just collected DNA, so we've now unlocked the first sample of 10 required to be able to clone and crawl on our crew. But some of the things you will get on these planets are module schematics. So like you will be able to craft additional modules, additional rooms on your ship. You'll get information on where you can find certain resources and aliens. You'll be able to get weapon schematics. So you definitely want to go to planets and find all sorts. You'll be able to get something called Tom's Voyage, which is sort of a main story. It's basically a story of what's come before.
Yeah.
So it's a bunch of lore, a bunch of videos that will tell you, give you a bigger picture of what's going on and what the Genesis program actually is.
Yeah, and you will find grave sites from previous pioneers.
Yeah, we are not the first people here.
And they'll often leave you something quite useful.
Definitely.
So if you want to say we're assigning, so if you come into the terminal here, if you move to the right, you can see what all your crew are doing at any time here.
And again, you can see their stats and everything. If you know that you want someone who has a lot of intelligence to work in a specific place because intelligence makes them work computers faster, you might want to assign based on that so things speed up.
So what we'll do is we'll pop to our tractor beam.
So currently our bots on the ship are unloading the ship, unloading the harvester, are moving the resource around so they can be refined and ultimately used on the ship.
So you can either assign them through here, or you can just do a quick assign.
Which will randomly pick from the top of the list.
So,
but in the tractor we want someone who is intelligent, so getting high intelligence is beneficial in a room like this one.
Yeah, and we'll wait for them to come in and we'll start scanning. But as you can see, we've set up a defensive grid here with turrets. We've also just put some shields to stop any interlopers coming in.
Stop most of it anyway. You can never be entirely safe.
No,
there wouldn't be any fun.
You've got to look for the porous gas, which will go through things and lay spores.
Exactly.
So yeah,
and both make your crew members sick, or just start laying eggs and become something nasty. And we do have someone in chat asking which engine this was made on.
It was made in Unreal Engine 4.
Exactly, which is why it's so beautiful.
Yes, we're just looking for our guys here. Come on, chop chop. Taking their time.
So first crew member on the job.
Oh,
the other one's right here.
Popped in. Right, so
these guys are now working in the tractor beam, and you can still help them. You don't have. I mean, you can assign someone and let them do it. You can help them out still. You can work a module entirely by yourself if you don't have the spare crew members to work in something, or you only need a module sometimes. You can go do the job yourself. which will often be quicker because we don't want you waiting around in the terminal just waiting for things to happen. There's enough to take care of in general on the ship once you get going.
I'm going to say these are just humans, but if you did have more of the intelligent clones, it would be a lot quicker and you can get the resources gathered.
Exactly. So these guys are here both to work, but also to help keep the ship safe. So if something sneaks their way aboard our ship via the tractor beam, they will help defend against those threats.
Yeah. So we'll leave them to it, and we'll pop down to another planet.
So there's a plant down here. So this is one of the ways, or this is the way you collect plants that you will need to create the biosphere required for the various types of clones.
Exactly. So we have another question. Any plans for multiplayer? Not at the moment. It is a much requested feature, but this has been modelled as a single player roguelike. So there aren't any plans for that at the moment.
It's created and it's been balanced for a single player experience, so I think if you dropped in a second player you would just wipe the entire universe because it would become too easy probably. Because it's tailored, it's really custom built for the one single player experience.
There you go.
Besides, Genesis Alpha 1 has been made by a very small team called Radiation Blue. Only 3 core members of the team, so there's only so much they can do, so they've decided to focus on making the best possible single player experience. And then, we'll have to see what players want in the future, all the feedback from you guys, just to see where to take the game next.
Exactly. So it's going to mine a few bits.
We have someone asking if materials respawn on planets.
No, they don't.
Exactly. Once your universe is empty, it's empty. There is a lot of stuff to find. I played on the same save file just recently for about 70 hours, and I don't even think I'd emptied half the universe at that point. So there's a lot of stuff that is way more than you need, and even you can make a ship that is very large and you can accommodate quite a few crew members, but there's a limit to how big you can make it. So unless you burn all your resources on ammo or turrets or shields that just keep breaking and keep being replaced, you will have more than enough resources to make your way through, even multiple times.
Exactly.
Because once you finish a playthrough, you can either start a new save, start again with a new corporation, new starting clones, a brand new ship, or you can continue your save file after you've finished a playthrough on what's called Continue Mission Plus, which will allow you to go back to your existing ship, keep expanding on it, keep initiating Genesis on more of the planets in the universe you've already come to know. So there, whenever you finish, you can decide how to proceed from there.
We're just scanning another crash site. There's a bit of ammo over there.
Ooh, looks like our crew's being attacked. I think we're probably on low difficulty planet though, so they should be fine. Hopefully. They will defend themselves to the best of their ability.
We've got plenty of other clones. He's got the harvester turret near him, so the ship does have inbuilt defences. And he's
on the back of the ship only though, so as long as they're close to that,
so
it'll be
it should
fine.
be fine. So, okay.
This is one of the things you can find on the ship, location of resource, which allows you to toggle the resource on your map, and it'll tell you where in the universe, from what you've explored, you can find this resource. Yeah, we are, as we always do, playing without any game audio on our end, so if we miss a warning of incoming aliens, that's why. Even though our wrist does show it, sometimes we're a bit occupied with everything else
we
going on.
have to keep an eye out for that one.
There's something coming, yeah. As you can see, our turret is keeping us safe, at least as much as we can. Give a bit of alien brain there. Nice.
Let's just see how much we've got.
Do a bit of-
we've got one more space left.
Bit of DNA.
Let's go and help him. He gave up halfway through. Come on, mate. He's got slacking off.
Gathering his energy. He's tired. It's a busy. There's more DNA on the ship and behind you on the planet if you want. So yeah, as soon as on the left. Oh, over there as well.
Fend these off first.
Ton of DNA. So you will see the green DNA looking things. Those are just alien DNA samples. You can also find red versions of these, which are alien ability samples. So you can actually get alien abilities like healing or something called harm touch, where you damage everything around you. So those abilities can be assigned to yourself or to your crew members once you unlock them, which can be really handy in keeping yourself and everyone else alive.
So we'll turn back. We've pillaged that planet. We've got what we've needed.
Nice.
And we'll move on. And we'll hyper jump somewhere else.
So we have a question in chat, what happens if all the crew members die? So I guess that opens up to just talk about the roguelike aspects in general.
So if all your crew die, that's it, it's game over.
So they are your lives.
Yeah. yeah, that's it. You've got to start from scratch. However, you will carry over all the items that you've unlocked previously, so you will be better equipped for your next run. Hopefully you'll have a bit more insight into the way things are working. So
and you also you made mistakes when you were building. You learned from that during your game, during your time with the game, and so you'll maybe start and build better the next time. And yeah, you'll never waste time, even if you fail, because you will, like, what you've unlocked, you'll be able to carry that across. The benefit, of course, in actually finishing game and initiating Genesis is that the race that you initiated Genesis with, if they are hollows or infernos or whatever they might be, you will have access to them as a starting race in the next playthrough. So that is what you, as a bonus, you unlock. Plus, you might get some bonus unlocks as well when you finish a playthrough. But other than that, anything you unlock site-wise, so modules and that kind of thing, weapons and suit upgrades, will carry over anyway.
Brilliant. It looks like our person on the bridge has been very busy. Already
probably playing a tablet game.
Yeah, but I think they've got a bit of spare time because they've already scanned the planets for us, which is quite nice. So
if anyone that might have already been playing, the game is already out, so some of you have probably been playing the other day. If some of you have been wondering what the point is in assigning someone to the bridge, they will scan planets for you. So again, the smarter they are and the more of them you've assigned to the bridge, the faster they'll do this. So you'll come to a cluster where everything is already scanned because your crew members will have done that for you. So that is the benefit of assigning someone to the crew.
We're just going to assign these guys.
So I do have another question regarding resources, which is what we're gathering here, and what you use them for. They are mainly to expand your ship. Now, some resources are earmarked for the ship itself. Some resources are specifically for weapons. So depending on what it is, lithium here, for instance, that's the weapon. You see this blue, this is a weapon resource. So you need some things to create turrets, energy barriers, or research and upgrade various weapon types. And stuff like iron and copper is used to build and reinforce the ship itself. So you can kind of, they're color coded so you can very easily see what type of resource they are. But another question, so if you're unable to select, to those of you that might be playing already, if you're unable to select the corporation in the beginning, you'll have to select the tutorial first, finish it. So once you see congratulations pop on the screen, you're fine to leave that save file, start a new one, and then pick your desired corporation from there. Yeah. Just do the tutorial first, and make sure to finish it.
So we're going to leave our, actually we'll wait till these aliens come about.
So what do we have, what was on this planet? So you can anytime look on the PDA actually to see what is on the planet expedition, so you can see what the crew members are doing, if the ship is full, what's still left in the ship. If you travel somewhere and you forgot if there was a site or what resource you came for, that's happened to me a number of times.
Yeah. And that's the main reason that we came here, was for the...
Oh, we walked into some acid, it looks like?
Yeah, I think so. We might have to go...
So there are a few ways of healing up, even if you don't have the healing ability, which also you won't have early on unless you've carried it over. You can heal from these healing stations, provided you have a bit of biomass, or anytime you collect biomass, you get a bit of health as well. So over time, you also heal up, just naturally.
Trying to stay away.
Yeah, these aliens can be a bit nasty because they leave behind some deadly gas.
So we're going to...
we're looking for a site.
I think some other people, leave behind some deadly gas as well, don't they? Sometimes.
Well, that's very true.
Especially in this office. But yeah, we're going to look for this crash site and see what it can give us.
So obviously some planets, because they're random, will be... This one is very well hidden, so like a grave in the middle of all the bushes here. But yeah, sometimes you'll be able to you leave your harvester and immediately see where you need to go. And other times you'll have to go explore. We have someone asking how you change the corridors of your ship. So we can do that when we go back. We try to do a bit of customization of the ship. You cannot change, so while the appearance of your turrets can change, you cannot change them yourself. Their appearance is tied to the rank. So as you get tier 1, 2 and 3 of the turrets, they will change appearance, get more ammo, and just become better and cooler looking turrets. So look out for those turret samples on planets, which will drop from certain enemy types. So what's left here? I'm just looking for the ship.
Yeah. Got lost. All this foliage, just go this way.
Yes. I think we might need to run to the left. I don't even know. Yeah, we're at the edge, so we need to run away from the edge. There we go. So, just like the layout and the appearance of the planet changes, the size of the explorable area changes as well. Some planets you could maybe explore in like 1 minute, you're done. Other planets you could be on for like 10 minutes, even half an hour, like grinding out alien samples or just looking for things. Ooh, check some messy edge here.
Too much acid.
Yeah. But yeah, if you do like acid though, there are some acid weapons and stuff you can get rid of in the game.
There is the acid thrower.
Exactly.
Which is a pretty decent weapon.
Resources collected.
So what? So the dome on the planet is what keeps you safe. It is what creates a temporary atmosphere that works for your crew. So if you leave that, you can totally go outside the dome, but I wouldn't advise it. And you will die within 30 seconds or maybe less, simply because you can't breathe. There's no, the atmosphere isn't correct. There, everything that the circumstances needed for living are not present outside the dome. So the dome is meant to keep you safe and keep you relatively close to the ship, which has again the turret to help keep you safe.
So there you go. We've painted our ship a lovely shade of red.
So you've just colored the whole ship at once. You don't have to do that. You can make every single individual module different colors. So if you want to make a rainbow corridor, you can do that. So coloring stuff like this, I don't know if you have a crew quarter nearby or even the bridge. It will color more than just the walls and the floors. You can also color couches, just to make a bit of flair. So you could have like a red couch in your corridor if you want, or in your crew quarter or in your bridge. And yeah, whatever you want to do is entirely up to you. And one of the cool things is that if you color the walls of your ship, you'll color the outside walls as well. So if you want pink spaceship, by all means, go for it. You can do that.
Yeah, we can change around, change the decor to suit your.
So the top one here changed the couches you might have seen. But yeah, you can make anything you want. You can change every single quarter to be different. It's entirely up to you.
It's like something right out of the 70s.
Exactly. Which, gels quite well with the vibe, the very 80s future retro vibe in a way.
Yeah, definitely. So if you may have missed it, off the Fallen Pioneer, we did get a shotgun off him.
Which is never a bad thing. More weapons is always nice. So a quick shout out to Fawn Creator 140 in chat. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate it.
No matter what you're watching, we're live on several platforms. Drop your questions in chat. We're happy to answer them. Anything you want to know, anything you want us to attempt. If you want to see us die in a specific way, I mean, we're totally open to suggestions, even if they are horrible ones.
So we're looking pretty good on the infestation counts at the moment.
As far as we're aware, we could miss something.
There's someone just popped in there to say hello.
So there are various ways you can keep your ship safe. We don't want to give you all the best tips today, because that would ruin the fun, but there are a lot of ways you can protect your ship. This is one of them, for instance, the security gate. So if an alien comes close to this, the gate will automatically close. It will also close to you, so if you are next to an alien, the door is closed. You can override it if you want, if you desperately need to get through, but it'll help stop infestations from spreading, because they cannot get through the door. And it's closed below the floor as well, so there's no way through once the door is closed.
As you can see, we've laid some turrets everywhere, just in case we get invaded, because people will beam into various parts of your ship, so it's good to be prepared in that way. And another one is the decontamination module, which will
speaking of acid,
which will let off acid. So as the infestation or interlopers come through here, they'll get sprayed with acid, and it will definitely kill most of the all the lower tier enemies anyway.
Yeah, and again, if you're smart with your distractions, you might be able to keep enemies in the decontamination module for a bit longer, potentially by putting up a shield so they can't get through.
And if your crew is injured, they will retreat to the quarters to heal up. But there are recreation hubs that you can build, and we'll show you one of those.
So essentially a bit of Earth taken with us into space, just a place to calm down, relax.
It's lovely here, isn't it? Very, very nice.
This is my personal favourite module, just because it is cool to look at, even if you can't actually dip your toes in the water.
No. Do you spend quite a bit of time in it then, Kelly?
I do. I spend too much time. I assign my crew members and just kick back in the sand pool.
Nice. But yeah, as you can see, it's you'll find them in here if they're healing up, and when I actually built this, it's quite funny looking on the map that they all, because they were all unassigned, they all came to the Zen pool.
Yeah. So unassigned crew members will randomly roam around. You know, they'll spend time in the recreation modules, they'll spend time in the quarters, or they'll just walk around and just see what's up, which can be really handy. So again, if you want to keep something particularly safe, there might be a benefit in keeping a module close to that place where your clones are likely to hang out, because then they're close by to protect whatever it is you want to keep safe. So a lot of ways to... So there you'll see the gas cloud, the enemy thing here. This is an enemy faction, so one of the space pirates. So basically a disgruntled human faction that they won't have any of it. They've decided that to hell with the corporations.
Yeah.
You know, we are space pirates now. We're going to take you down if you come into our territory. So if you start coming close to them, they will hunt you down. So stay safe. And you know, early game especially, try to avoid those you know, enemy symbols, because they can be very devastating if you're not ready for it.
So we've just been to a trader whose holograms come aboard, so you can have a look and see what type of stuff they've got available, see if there's anything that you may want. Some cases they may, there might not be something, but we're pretty well stocked to trade with them. But
so any spare resources, this basically means that no matter what you find, there's use for it. So even if you keep finding ore and you don't need ore, grab it anyway and trade it for something you do need. This can be a really good way, especially early game, to get resources that might be otherwise very hard to come by. Yeah,
because you might have an abundance of things like iron, which you can trade away for something that might be more useful for you. So I say we're not going to trade with them at the moment, but we're going to...
But you can get anything from clone DNA to modules to resources to weapon schematics, anything. But it's entirely random, so what they will have, I mean, we couldn't tell you. That's unique to your playthrough.
And you will need uranium to
for doing the longer jumps.
For doing the longer jumps. So let's have a look. Let's go over here then.
So the box icon on planets means that there is a site on the planet. So it simply means there is something for you to manually go discover and unlock. So while you can send crew members to planets to gather absolutely everything that is in a node, so any ore, any plants, your crew members can do, but sites, because they have to be scanned, and our clones are only made smart enough to do the exact jobs we need them to do. So we need the brains of the player as well to jump down there and actually get the sites. Also, obviously, just for gameplay purposes, to make sure that you can't just leave your crew to do all the fun bits while you just hang about on the ship, because that takes away a lot of the game. So we're trying to encourage you to go to planets, at least for these sites, brave the danger and see what you find.
Exactly, and you will notice that obviously when we jumped into this part of space, everything's a lot lighter now. So as you go near stars or moons or things like that, it will illuminate your ship. So as you can see.
So yeah, depending on where you are, you'll have a different atmosphere,
a
different mood, if you will.
Definitely not as dark. So let's just make sure the person who's assigned to our bridge has done some scanning. Looks like they've set it underway.
Yeah, so they will both scan the immediate cluster that you're in, but also the 8 clusters around it. So you actually see, if you look on the terminal, from the center you've selected, you'll see like a small pulse in a square. That immediate square, and that is everything you're able to scan. So if you're hovering in a certain place for a while, maybe while you're using a tractor beam, or just waiting for stuff to be refined, or you're building, or whatever you're doing, your crew members will have enough time to scan things next to where you are as well, so not just your immediate cluster.
And as you can see, obviously this one hasn't been scanned yet, so we don't know.
That's what they're working on, I'm sure.
So what we'll do in the meantime, jump across to this one.
You'll see again the yellow ore on the planet is for the ship, so for upgrading, and you use copper and platinum to reinforce the modules as well, so you can add extra protection to your ship. And the green resources are for weapons, weapon upgrades, that kind of thing, for turrets, shields.
Definitely. And I have noticed that a few people have asked via social media today how to get away from the invasion. And there is a way to do it. It can seem quite daunting because the famine and the mechanics will just they'll keep coming.
Yeah.
And you'll have some really good firefights, which we did have in our last stream. We actually chased the mechanics down.
It'd be a great way to get biomass, a great way to get weapon samples as well, but obviously if you're not ready for it, they can take you down quite quickly.
As you see, our harvester just took out some far-flung enemies.
So if suddenly a lot of humanoid threats with weapons teleport, beam up on your ship, and try to kill everyone, that is what's happening. You're invaded by space pirates. So if that happens to you, go to your bridge and hyper jump away. Keep an eye on the icon. You'll be able to see where they are, but they can follow you because they move around randomly. And so don't just move to the next square. Maybe move a couple of squares away. Wait for them to move away again, and then maybe try to go to wherever you wanted to explore. Yeah. Because they are quite territorial. They will not just hang by while you go steal their stuff.
And as I say, it's always good to maybe put a turret on the bridge or something, just to give you a bit of breathing room in case they do come in there.
But they can come in anywhere, so keep your ship safe. Don't only worry about the hangar and the tractor beam. They can teleport, beam in absolutely anywhere.
You've definitely got to keep your ship safe, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely.
I thought you said something else.
I mean, maybe I did.
Got some movement.
Let's see something to. Oh, that's a lot of them. A lot of nice DNA as well, though.
It's like
almost have enough for the crawl.
Helped us out. I think we should do. Let's get
one more.
Cool roof out here and we'll go and have a look at the clone lab.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
Ooh, get that DNA.
2,
Nice.
1, 0.
So yeah, even when you decide to leave a planet, something can still come into your ship. So don't try to flee from something that's currently chasing you, because they will keep chasing you. And they can still kill you inside of your harvester. You're not safe just because you've hit the countdown.
And you will see here we've put turrets in the hangar. So if you don't want to go to a planet, you want to do something on your ship, you can send the crew out without you, and as we mentioned before, they'll gather resources. But what you'll sometimes find is aliens will come back and they'll be clinging to the side of the ship. So in case you're not here, it's always good to maybe have a couple of turrets just in case.
And here we see our loader bots, or Robotniks, working hard on the ship. They are the ones transporting your resources around. So if you need to get a plant from the storage to your greenhouse, they will go pick it up and bring it up to the greenhouse and make it available for your gardeners or for yourself.
Exactly. So,
and the same for stuff that goes to the refinery.
What we might do is we might just build another storage.
So we have a question: what happens when you reinforce a module? If we have enough copper, we can try it.
Let's have a look.
I don't know if we have any copper.
So
Yes, we do have enough. So if you take just a corridor, something doesn't require much. Just something where you can easily get to the power node, so we can show off what happens.
let's have a look.
So now we can reinforce it twice if we want to. So first time is copper, second time is platinum. And what this does is basically gives the module more health. It protects the power node. So now if we make our way all the way there, which might be tricky because it's far away and it's below the floor, because the corridor you can only get to the power nodes under the floors. Do you remember exactly which one it was?
Yes. Okay. Well, I think I do.
It's a big ship. So you need to get under the floor, otherwise you can't see it on the corridors. Yeah. So do we have a...
Let's build an access.
You might have access from your workshop, depending on the design of it. If you go inside, have a look. I don't remember if this corporation... Oh, it does, so you can get down here. So yeah, depending on the corporation you've picked, some of the modules will change appearance. So one of these, I think the one in front of you? Yeah, so this one you'll see is now being reinforced. So you can show this one compared to one behind you where it came from. So you'll see there's some added protection. This one is just the default one. So when you reinforce a module, it just gets more protection and it's harder for enemies or aliens to destroy. Which, if they destroy a power node, and if every power node in the module is destroyed for long enough, it'll start failing, it'll lose power, eventually loses oxygen, and if you don't fix it, it blows up. And if there's someone inside, they blow up along with it.
Exactly.
So it's not a fun way to go out. There is no fuel. So we have someone in chat asking if you can run out of fuel. There is no fuel, so you can keep jumping. The only thing you can run out of is uranium to be able to jump like several squares at a time. But you can always do the one square at a time over and over again without costing you anything. So you will never be stuck in space. Don't worry about that. So feel free to explore, go everywhere, find everything, kill everything. Yeah, don't worry about that at all.
Just go to the clone lab.
So while you make your way down, another question from chat. If you can upgrade your harvester, no you cannot. So it will always be able to carry 5 resources. and always have the one gun. Essentially, we want to make sure that when you go to a planet, it doesn't become too easy, because if you could get, homing missiles or 10 turrets on your ship or whatever, they'll just make every planet trivial and almost not very fun to play. So it's the core harvester at all times to make sure that it keeps being interesting and challenging for you to go to the higher difficulty planets in particular. So yeah, no upgrades of the harvester. So do we have enough samples to actually unlock anything? That is the question.
No, just a few away. So if we pop you another planet.
So from here, yeah, this is where you merge. So any crew member you make, it's a mixture between, because essentially what you're trying to do here is you're trying to save humanity. So every crew member is part human, part alien, which is why they're all humanoids. They all look like humans until you see their face.
Yeah.
And look at they might be immune to weird things that humans certainly are not. But yeah, they're all humanoids because we are ultimately trying to save, even if it is little, some of humanity.
Exactly, and as you saw from Big Dave earlier, he's human, he's bipedal, he stands up, but obviously in his face he's completely different. He's got glowing red eyes. So
exactly, but there is a tiny bit of human that are still worth preserving if you found the correct planet.
So it looks like it has been scanned and we've got 2 more sites.
Nice.
So we'll jump aboard.
So we do have someone asking if this is like Dead Space. No.
No,
some aspects maybe in that there can be some horror to it. We've certainly had some feedback and from ourselves at times where things can get kind of jump scary, if you will. There might be an alien that pops out around the corner and just tries to murder you in the dark or whatever. So it could have maybe a bit of Dead Space or alien vibe in that sense. But gameplay wise, it's not like Dead Space at all. Like you're building your ship, you're building your crew, you're trying to find a new home for humanity. It's all about like your adventures. There's no story in that sense. You're not uncovering some big mystery, really. I mean, there are a lot of mysteries to uncover, I guess, in the Tom's Voyage. So the videos you can find that tell you about. You have Infernos on the left. And then tell you about the Genesis program and what's happened before you.
Busy looking at the rocks.
But yeah, it's not Dead Space, maybe. Yes. So we have someone asking about the Easter egg in a certain module. So that Easter egg might be there depending on what corporation you play as. So in our corporation, it is not there.
Whoa.
We're on fire for a sec, so we might have to retreat and heal up, I think. But yeah, so there might be things for you to uncover. Some of them will only be visible if you play a certain corporation, because that will change how your ship looks, the design of your bridge, for instance. So unfortunately we cannot show that off. Plus, it's an Easter egg. We don't want to show it off on launch day. We want you guys to discover it. So, have you not thrown out of biomass? Are you using the lock-on at all? So there is something the game might not tell you, and that you can actually lock on to enemies if you're struggling, especially if hitting something in the dark, which can be quite tricky. So if you actually hold the crew command button, you will be able to toggle lock on, if you will, and that'll help you more easily take down the aliens.
Oh, that was a close one.
Yep. You have to stay on your toes. But yeah, you do have to be close enough for the lock on to actually work and be effective.
Seeing a site over here, so let's go have a look.
Nice. So this one is easy to see. We're not moving off in here, so the lights went off. There we go. I mean, it fits. The planet is pitch black as well. We do have someone asking if there is a minimap for the ship. Yes and no. There is no traditional minimap. You won't see a map in the corner showing you where things are, but you can use your building map at any time as a real-time map. So on top of and beyond just seeing where things are, you can very clearly see where you've put where everything is. You can also see where the crew members are. You can see whether they've assigned a job or not. So if they're grayed out, they have the grey icon, they're not doing anything, just roaming. If they're green, they're working somewhere. If they're red, they're blinking, they're engaged in combat. And if you just see a red dot on the ship, that is an actual alien that's been spotted by someone. So you can use your building map to see in real time what's going on, where the threats might be, if you're not able to locate where something is coming from or where you've been invaded exactly.
20%.
So yeah, we're just going to our second site now. So in the first one we got a location of where these infernos, because this is the first time we've encountered them on this playthrough, so it will show up on the map when
60%.
Yeah. So if you want to get more DNA to get some infernos on the crew, that's where to go. And obviously, you can't just, like, we're playing on low difficulty. I think you're still on low difficulty planets.
Yeah.
You can play on high and critical as well, and you will have to take on harder planets if you want higher tier clones. So if you want level 2 and level 3, you will have to go beyond just the low difficulty planets. So high risk, high reward, if you will.
We've got one more space left on the ship.
So I noticed you just got a suit upgrade. Can you tell me about those?
Yeah, so there are various suit upgrades. So it could be health, resistance to certain types of things, and speed. So you'll come across, and there'll normally be 5% increments maybe, but you can, I think it's up to 30%.
Yeah, so basically you'll find
attribute.
5, 10 and 15
Yeah.
percent of everything. And you'll actually be able to see from your PDA while you're on planet, actually at any time on your cap stats, how much bonus you might have. So you'll see here we have health, armor and speed are all plus 5% right now because we've collected those suit upgrades. So you can get everything up to plus 30 for every weapon, and everything except the standard pistol that cannot be upgraded, but everything else you can get bonuses for. And one of the things you can do once you finish a playthrough and you've unlocked those suit upgrades is that they will be available as starting artifact for another playthrough. So you could start another playthrough with immediately having 30% extra speed or 30% extra health or whatever you want. So if you play as the rock species, for instance, which is the slowest clone because they are half human, half rock, so they move very slowly. If you then add 30% movement speed, they'll be back to being really quick. And obviously, if you have it really quick crew member already and you give them 30%, you'll be flying through the ship, which you will need sometimes to take down the threat quickly and effectively. So we do have a question about co-op in the future, and the same as multiplayer. No plans right now. Really structured and built and balanced to a strong single player experience. But yeah, the team at Radiation Blue, developers of this game, are we'll be looking at player feedback and see what all of you want, what you really want to see, and then we'll investigate the future from there and see what might be next. So yeah, do let us know what you really want to see, and we'll see what's possible.
Okay.
So we're using up our last uranium now to make a longer jump. I do love the effect of the hyper jump every time. It's very satisfying.
It's quite scary.
Just pops by for a photobomb almost.
Just looks like in the future it looks like all hair has been cloned out.
You clone the bits you need. Everything you need. Effective human beings. They don't need hair to be effective.
I'm very disappointed by the lack of beards in the future.
I mean, I concur, to be completely honest. But you don't need beards to be smart or be a killing machine. But, even though you might look like a killing machine.
But to be fair, beards are very good at actually using them to research new antibiotics.
True, and there is a medical bay in this, and research bay, so your crew members can get sick, and you might need to research the illnesses to prevent them from eventually dying from sickness.
But that's the thing.
Or something worse than dying.
Yeah,
there are things worse than death in this.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If they had beards, then they wouldn't get sick, would they? It's
very true.
It's
Unless someone sneezes in your beard, and then you just have a constant, which might be gross.
Depends what was in there.
Anyway, I'm really hoping someone in chat has a question about something that isn't beards right now, so we can change the subject. Sulfur is always good, again, for you want to build turrets and... uranium as well for making our jumps. You need everything, and again, if you don't, you can go to a trader and get rid of it and get something you do need.
It's about striking that balance and managing your resources effectively.
And you can't... That being said, you only have so much storage, you only have so many deposits, so you want to make sure that what you do have, you actually have room for, and you don't want to waste all your space on things you never need. So get what you do need, but get rid of it if you don't need it and trade it for something else. And worst case, you can throw it into space and just make space, make room for something else.
So we'll get some uranium, because we use the last one in the last hyper jump.
So we do have someone asking what the space pirates look like. So the space pirates, as we call them, they are called Framen and Mechanics, are two enemy human factions who've abandoned the traditional corporations in favor of taking on the Alpha 1 Quadrant on their own, making their own, their very territorial. If they come on the ship, or rather when they come on the ship, that's almost guaranteed to happen at some point or other. They are very humanoids. They look like a human. They have, depending on which of the two factions it is, we're wearing different armors and carrying different weapons, but they are humanoids with firearms, and they will come on the ship, destroy your power nodes to destroy your ship, kill you and your crew, just try to get rid of you.
And they will be relentless. They
Yeah.
will keep on coming. So
Again, you can fight them if you are prepared for it, but initially, early game, which means anyone playing today, if you see them, flee. Run away, kill the ones that are on your ship, and immediately go to your bridge, hyper jump away so they stop attacking you, because they are relentless and they will keep taking you down. So yeah, flee and take down what is left, and maybe come back another time when you're ready for it.
this is where I probably should have had a shotgun for wormy type creatures.
Yeah, the worms, I keep seeing comments that the worms are some of the most disgusting. Even though, I mean, you've seen nothing yet. From what we've shown today, there are a lot of alien types
Yeah.
that are a lot more disgusting, if you will, but the worms are quite creepy.
And there's some pretty, I say, we won't spoil it for you, but there's some pretty special ones.
Really cool effects, and look really cool. Can be really devastating as well. They do a lot of damage if they attack you, but something to look forward to.
Let's get out of it.
And even, I mean, like I mentioned before, my longest recent playthrough of the full finished game, I played for about 80 hours. I did not see every alien type on that playthrough, so there are a lot of stuff, a lot of aliens to find, and you might not even find them all. You could play through many times without finding everything.
And you did mention there was one that was quite creepy that messed with power.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are a few that are related to power, but there is one, again, I don't want to spoil too much, but basically, let's say it changed the atmosphere and the settings, and I was like, holy smokes, this looks incredible.
Holy smokes.
So there are some really cool alien designs to look forward to. Some of them you'll see on the planets, some of them might come on your ship via the tractor beam, especially if you brave the critical difficulty debris. You see some crazy stuff, and some of it can be really dangerous if you're underprepared.
And we'll see if we can see if there's any. There's no space pirates here at the minute. We've got some danger.
So all these red squares can be either territories that we know belong to Framen or mechanics. They're usually further away from where you begin. And the others will be, as you're seeing, sunstorms, asteroids, cosmic spores, which are all things that will attack, or rather, they will inadvertently hit your ship and destroy your ship if you're not ready for them. So yeah, don't travel into the red areas until your ship is ready for it.
No.
Which, I mean, it might be quite obvious what you need to do once you explore the various modules in the game.
So we did collect some uranium, but we will need to get that refined. So we can't make it jump as much.
You make a small one. We do have someone asking how research works. So anything you do is more or less immediate. Like refining something could take a couple of seconds. Building something and researching can take a couple of seconds. If you do it yourself, it is literally a 5-second job. The main thing is because we don't want you again waiting at a terminal, just waiting for things to happen, because that's not fun. You will, once you have the resources required, depending on the research type, you'll be able to do it. So if you want to research a clone, for instance, you will need the clone samples. So you'll need 10 of the sample of whatever tier you want to clone, and you'll need a chunk of biomass to do that research as well. Essentially, you're wasting biomass trying to perfect this clone type, and eventually it works, and then they'll be available to you. So the same goes for weapons. If you have the weapon samples you need, if you have 10 samples of a shotgun at a tier 2, for instance, you will then also need, I think it is 5 iridium, to be able to upgrade a higher tier of that certain shotgun. So it is usually, biomass or samples combined with a resource of some kind to do the research, and then it's done. So yeah, no waiting around or boring. No boring stuff.
No, I was going to say we're just
Action all the time.
We're just making our way to the next cluster of planets. See what we can find here. Hopefully there'll be some crash sites.
So do have someone asking how many different types of hostile aliens there are. I don't know the exact number. I only know that in 80 hours I did not find them all. I did not encounter all of them.
Yeah.
There are a lot, and that was after scouring my entire universe of usually you will have over 300 planets to explore. Debris and planets where you can potentially encounter things. So anything could be hiding anywhere, and obviously you get the wilder things on the higher difficulty places. So I don't know the exact amount, but it is a high amount, and you're probably looking at 80 to 100 hours, unless you're super lucky, before you've seen everything in terms of aliens.
Got a high danger planet there. Let's go and help our bridge member scan so we can know exactly what's down there. whether it's worth it.
You can scan from anywhere on the ship. You don't have to go to the bridge. Although maybe we're checking. Do we have another crew member we can assign so they scan faster by default, or are we run out?
No, I think we might have.
No, they're all working.
Let's take Gordon.
Job assigned.
As long as we only have one greenhouse, which I think we do.
No, we got 2 green.
Oh, we have 2. Okay.
But we haven't got any.
Nothing is currently growing. These
No,
evidence.
no, we're not growing any strange things. Well, they are strange things, but.
So we do have someone asking how they stop the waves of aliens. So these are the pirates that we're talking about, the Framen or mechanics. If they start attacking your ship, your only recourse to end the combat is to flee. So if you get invaded by alien or by space pirates, go to your bridge and travel away from there. Ideally, you travel a couple of squares. If you have uranium, travel further in one jump. But you want to leave because the reason they attack you is because you are in their territory. And you will notice from your Galaxy terminal, so from the main computer on the bridge, you will see them moving around. So once you've explored a bigger part of the ship, you'll be able to see them moving around in real time. And if you get too close to them, also they will come into your cluster and start attacking your ship. So again, if you get invaded by something, go to the bridge, teleport away, and try again once you have better weapons, more health, stronger crew, more turrets, or a number of other ways you can keep your ship safe. So I saw the site behind you, unless we have the site here already. So this is a planet where it's easier to see, kind of, what's going on. It is very foggy though, but yeah, there's not as much growth here, so it's easier to find your way around. It's certainly easier to see aliens as they creep up.
20%.
Keep an eye on our crew member who's obviously fighting, I think, over there.
Our turret is helping out. It looks like they killed everything. There's nothing showing on your threat indicator.
This is quite a nice looking planet. But yeah, these are all procedurally generated.
80%.
And I believe we've been joined by Klaus.
Potentially. Is he German for spaceship? Kind of fake German for spaceship?
I think so, yeah.
The chat. In that case, welcome to the stream. Hopefully we don't embarrass you to say something that isn't true.
No. And congratulations on launch day. So
yeah,
it's
definitely.
Absolutely cracking game. And just to give it a quick plug, if just again, it is available today on PC via the Epic Games Store, PlayStation 4, and Xbox.
And if you're on console, and you can buy it both physically and digitally. So if you like a physical collection, you can totally do that on console. It will be available in most major retailers worldwide. So call up your local retailer, see if they have it. If they don't, maybe they can get it.
He's had enough of this guy.
We got some harm touch samples. So once we have 10 of those, we can give ourselves that ability, which makes us able to harm any alien around us, which can be a really handy ability. Even though my personal favorite, for maybe obvious reasons, is healing, because I'm prone to taking damage and I like not dying, so healing is quite handy.
Well, talking of damage, we are coming towards the end of the stream, so I think we might.
Very true.
I think we might chance our luck.
Do we want to try dying and see what happens? Maybe.
Should we? I think if we go to this critical planet, we're probably going to die.
Was there critical?
Or was it high? So there's a good chance we will probably die.
Yeah, what if we remove the crew members so we have no help and we just go down? Oh, actually, maybe keep one just so you become them. So the way it works, if you're on a planet, you have crew members with you. If you die, you become one of the other crew members on the mission. If you don't, your expedition will have sort of failed and you'll become a crew member back on the ship. Someone else is always ready. As long as you have other clones, someone is ready to take the reins, become the new captain, and you'll continue playing as them. And using, as you saw early on, potentially using the respawn chamber, you're able to assign a certain clone. If you know that next time I die, I want to become this specific clone with a specific immunity or more health or whatever it might be, then you can assign someone there, and that will be your next captain if you die. We do have someone. This is not the first time we get this question. If you can keep aliens as pets, no. You can temporarily hold them behind barriers if you really want to and just not shoot at them. But that is a very temporary and potentially resource-intensive solution. So, no pets. A lot of aliens, but no alien pets. There's someone asking if you can build more corridors. You can build more of everything. The entire ship is yours to create, so however you want to build it across several different floors, as many or few corridors as you want to build. Just go for it. Just build whatever you want. Keeping in mind though that there is a limit to how big the ship can become. We don't want to fly around with a capital city in space. And,
no.
You know, we're not supporting hundreds of people. This, you know, we have the critical crew. We have everyone we need to basically. This is like a forward operating base. It's essentially what a ship is. We're looking for a planet so we can signal Earth that we found a new home, and they will then send the majority of the people that will be inhabiting this planet. So. Yeah, you won't be building a massive ship, so keep that in mind. Like, there is a limit to how big the ship can be and how many people you can have. So build within those parameters, but within that, in complete freedom. Build any way you want, make it look any way you want, design it any way you want, make it as safe or unsafe as you want. It's entirely up to you. So I think with that, we're probably at the end of the stream. I think we should be looking for some danger and getting ourselves killed, provided our crew member is still alive.
Yeah.
They're hiding. So if we look for some danger, we can also just blow ourselves up on the ship to see what happens. Let's see if something pops up in the next few seconds. There we go. So obviously this is not a very interesting way to get killed, but just to show you guys what happens and how the roguelike elements work. So again, your crew members, your clones, they are your lives. If you die and there is another clone available, they get promoted to captain, like you see here. Nash is now the new captain, which means we are now Nash. And yeah, as long as you have more clones, you're fine. If you run out, game over. Your journey will end. You will still keep everything you've unlocked, but you will not be able to initiate Genesis on that playthrough, which means you will not gain the benefits of that would have had. So definitely try to finish a Genesis if you can, because there are more benefits that way. But yeah, you're not punished per se from failing. We encourage you to explore and maybe try things that maybe are a bit out of your depth, just to see what happens.
And yeah, Nash is taking revenge,
killing everything in sight
for his fallen comrade.
So yeah, I think that's it. We have no more questions looming. So I think with that, do you want to sign us off?
Yeah. So thank you all ever so much for joining. Really appreciate the time. And yeah, this is out today, and it is available digitally and physically for PS4 and Xbox One, and digitally for PC on the Epic Games Store. It's priced at £25, $30, and €30. And yeah, I hope we've given you a good glimpse into what life is like in space.
And what death is like.
And death, yeah, you know, and if you're a bit lonely or you don't like some of your clones, you can shoot them and create new ones. So,
exactly. I mean,
you know, it doesn't get boring.
You are the captain, you do whatever you think makes sense.
Exactly.
Just make sure you have enough biomass to clone new ones.
But no, definitely. But we really appreciate your time, guys, and thank you ever so much.
Anything you want to know beyond this stream, of course, be sure to check us out on social media, or come join our Discord, discord.gg/Team17, where you can talk about Genesis Alpha 1 and a bunch of other Team 17 games. Come ask questions, talk to us, talk to some of the development team, talk to fellow captains, and yeah, come hang out, ask some questions, have some fun.
Definitely.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Cheers, thank you.
See you next time.
Rated M for mature. When I was young, our dream was to go to the stars. And so we tried, gave our best. And in the end, we made it into space.
Greetings, Commander. You have been sent to Quadrant Alpha 1. The mission is to find a new home for the crew on board of this ship. Expand your ship and explore the galaxy for resources and interesting new life forms. To increase the size of the ship and to forge weapons, we need to gather resources. In the current quadrant, we have identified more than 300 planets that we can explore and harvest. Alpha 1 is a dangerous quadrant. Even the bravest pioneers will need top-tier weapons and defenses to survive this endeavor, and to lead the Genesis mission to success. Your ship is like an ark, and the crew is the most important part of your endeavor. No crew, no Genesis. Improve the crew's DNA and treat them properly, and they will grant success of your mission.
The best commanders were chosen to lead these starships, and like myself, you are one of them.